Again, Erev Shabbos, Parshas Vayishlach. This week's Parsha, we have the mun. Interesting concept. We know that it tasted like anything you wanted. The Chafetz Chaim says that if you had no kavanah, what would it taste like? Nothing. All the geschmack we have in this world is that the kavanah that you put into it, that's the geschmack, that's the hano that you get out of it. Rav Chaim Kanievsky said that if you have stam das, then it tastes like what the pasuk says, like honey cakes. But Finer said you could say that Rav Chaim and the Chafetz Chaim agree. If you have stam das that you're just eating mun, that's what it'll taste like. But Rav Chaim would also agree that if you have no das, you're eating like, like some like fast food, then it won't taste like anything. Taka, can you imagine someone who eats the mun and doesn't taste anything? Interesting shayla the Ksav Sefer brings up. We know that the reason why the Rebbeinu Shalom puts us through this world before going to Olam Haba is so that we can attain Olam Haba pleasure while working for it. We want to earn our Olam Haba. And problem is that the mun was free. The mun just came down from Mitzrayim, from Shemayim. And where was the geschmack in that? In Fakert, you have the tzaddikim who don't even need a walk to go get their mun because it landed right on their doorsteps. At least the Rishonim, they had to go hiking and hunting for their mun. But for tzaddikim, how did they get a geschmack out of their lechem that was just given to them for free? This is an interesting idea. It actually says Vayehi. Bayam Hashishi, on the sixth day, they ran out to collect their mun, and so the Ksav Sefer says, what says Vayehi? We know that Vehoyo means it will be. That's a good thing. Positive, good stuff is happening. Yehi is future tense. It will be. Vayehi means and it was. Someone who's taking his future and he's destroying his past with it. He's living with all the fears of what might happen, all the worst case scenarios. That's Vayehi b'mechashverosh. That's bad. Vayehi. V'haya, and it was. But v'haya means it will be, but haya is past tense. So we're taking the haya, what was, and making it futuristic, taking everything that happened with you and using that to build your future. That's good news. But by the mun of shach, by the mun it says Lashon Vayehi, which is bad. What's the badness over there? So Ksav Sefer says the Rebbeinu Shalom made it built into the mun, that even though they didn't work for it, and it really was just a matonu min hashamayim, nevertheless, they still had the geschmack in it as if it had the Tzar that they schwitzed for it. Interesting word. The tough things in life are the things that breed the greatest pleasures. There's Yid Rabbi Meisel. He was, after davening, he made a plea in a shul for an organization he was collecting for. Choshev looking Yid. Afterwards, someone came over and said, Rabbi Meisel, please give me a bracha. And he said, what makes you think that I could give you a bracha? Like, why me as opposed to the next guy? You want to break his head, go to everybody else first. So he said, no, I know the Maisa with you. He said, what Maisa? So there's a couple of people ready to gather around. And he filled them in with the story. What happened was, he, as a Rav, had built on the side, he started dealing with real estate. That's a parnasa. So that, I guess, parnasa wouldn't interfere with his Avodas HaKodesh. And slowly, he had built up a really, really solid portfolio of real estate, equaling something like $30 million. Baruch Hashem, he was doing fantastic. And then, one Ponzi schemer got a hold of him and convinced him to mortgage every single one of his properties, to mortgage his home, to mortgage his shul. And he did. Shortly afterwards, this guy was busted, thrown in prison, and Rabbi Meisel was left with nothing. The bank took back everything, and he had to scoundrel around, slowly try to rebuild, gather a couple dollars together to get his home back. They said it was a brutal time in my life. You can imagine. Recently, just a couple of years ago, there's a knock on his door. This guy, who was a Ponzi schemer, was a frum Yid, unfortunately. His family His wife and his kids were waiting at home for him to get out of prison. And Trump was going out of office. And presidents do a lot of pardoning before they leave. And this was this guy's chance to get out of prison. The problem was his lawyer, hotshot lawyer, told him, if you really want to get out, you need a letter of affirmation from your biggest victim. If he says that you deserve to get out, the president will give you a pardon. Who was this Ponzi schemer's biggest victim? Rabbi Meisels. He was like just barely back on his feet. And now he's like, look, what am I supposed to do? I'm not getting my money back anyways. His wife and kids are waiting for him at home. He wrote the letter. He said, Trump, get him out of prison. The guy was he was let free. He was pardoned. All the newspapers were tiny that the letter was a forgery. There's no way he ever would have written a letter for someone like that. And they tried calling him and he didn't answer. He said, it's none of your business. But he said, yeah, I wrote the letter. He said, I didn't get back my $30 million. But right after writing that letter, he had a son who went on to a different derech, let's say. And right after writing that letter, his son came home. And he said, I want to get back with the program. I miss you this guy. Worth a lot more than $30 million. The tough times will give us the chance to push through them. The nisyonos are the things that test us and push us to see what can you actually be. Yeah? May we be zeicha to, we don't ask for nisyonos, but all the nisyonos that Hashem has in store for us, all of those challenges, may Hashem give them to us with the koyach to pass them, with the clarity to realize that this is our greatest opportunity, and maybe our entire life was all just for this one moment. May we be zeicha to become the greatest people that we could possibly be as individuals, as a tzibur, as Klal Yisrael, and together march down to the Kaisel with Mashiach, Meir v'yameinu, the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash. Amen. Ekra le'lokim el yoy, Ekra le'lokim el yoy, lokel goy mel olai, Ekra le'lokim el yoy, yishlach min shamayim V'yoishieni Cheresh Hayafis Eloi Yishlach Elokim Chazdoi V'amitoi Ekra Le'Elokim Elyon Ekra Le'Elokim Elyon Shabbos.